I want to talk about the differences between thinking and feeling. I don't really think there is a difference. The terms are confused, so there's some contradictions based on how the terms work out. But if we sort that out, we'll find that uh, that feeling, that everything is related to feeling. I believe that analysis, the desire to dig deeper into things and use analysis, is a feeling itself. Now, it feels refined, it feels like less of a feeling because its job is to break down other feelings. So, for example, what I mean is this: I think all cognitive creatures are getting perceptions, right? And they could get very complex perceptions and emotional perceptions. So, for example, a mouse, when a lot of havoc is going around him, he doesn't necessarily the way I picture it, doesn't necessarily decompose the scene into everything that's going on, count how many people, and this kind of thing. Instead, he perceives fear. And then he's going to create another image in his mind that's going to lead to fight or flight, and that is going to be his thinking. So most of the thinking we do is taking emotional perceptions and creating emotional perceptions. Now, when we talk about creating a perception, that might sound weird. It's really that perceptions are kind of images, and we take that image and we create an output image. But we are creating a perception on the output because we then perceive the result of our thinking again and have another chance to process it. Or we could store it in our memory, which means that later on when the memory is activated, or however you want to talk about it, it's going to recreate a perception, namely the memory. And so that process is thinking, and there's a lot of emotions that go through that pipeline of imagery to processing to imagery to processing. And so I think that analysis is just another feeling of wanting to dig deeper. It feels refined because it's trying to get in at what the world really is. And that comes from, I think, the fact that its role is to correlate. Analysis really is thinking about feeling. So it's like thinking about thinking. And so we can compare, we can have compassion and aggression, and with our analytic minds, we can compare the two and look at the circumstances and try to justify one or the other, and sort of slow down our action that is a result of all of this by taking everything into account. Whereas without that process, really, whichever is stronger is just going to determine what action you take as a whole. So yeah, I think that analysis is really just another feeling, a kind of a refined feeling, and that's why we can have the urge, for example, a very emotional urge and obsession to analyze something or to figure something out that's like, oh, we can almost figure that out. Our mind can be wrapped up, and it's very much like any other emotional motivation that driving us to analyze. So I think we ought to think about thinking as processing feelings, and everything is a feeling. All perceptions are feelings. Seeing the color red is really a feeling. Again, in one sense, you can see that, right? Because red, we know, makes makes mammals aggressive. Seeing red, but even red, just the cool, dispassionate color red, is a kind of feeling. And the fact that it doesn't have a strong motivational factor to it doesn't mean it's not a feeling. It just means it's somewhat rarefied, somewhat more of a neutral kind of feeling in the end, but that does not make it distinct from a feeling. It's just that kind of a feeling, sort of a neutral, calm feeling about this perception, if you will. Cheers.